Hi friends, my name is Nishanta. I am a dyslexic science teacher teaching here in Southern California. In this video, I'm going to show you how to develop ideas using brainstorms, and then I'm going to show you how to use mind maps to really refine and structure those ideas so they become useful and functional. So using this system, I'm able to take vague thoughts and hunches and develop them into powerful structured ideas. So after processing your ideas into these structured thoughts, they become infinitely more useful. You can use them to get closer to the goals that you have. You can use them to make things like YouTube videos or blog posts or classroom assignments if you have homework, or projects at work if you're working at a career. And sometimes you can even use them to build better relationships with the people around you. So I split this video up into two parts. In the first part, I'm going to show you my exact brainstorm to mind map workflow. And in part two, I'm going to show you the science of why this system works so well. This video is a part of the Dyslexia Masterclass series I'm doing right here on YouTube. So if you like this video, check out the rest of the playlist. I'll put it on the cards and I'll put it in the description below. So this is my exact workflow in taking thoughts and turning them into structured ideas. So the first step is getting all of your ideas out of your head and into a physical thing. I use a blackboard like the one that you see behind me. You can use paper or an app like Notability. I showed you guys Notability in one of the previous videos. It is a note-taking app on your iPad. The cool thing about Notability is it'll record your writing and what you're saying at the same time, and it'll link them together. Sometimes I use Notability, but most of the time I use this blackboard over here because I just like writing on my blackboard, and it's really big and I can put all of my ideas on there. But you don't have to have Notability or a blackboard. You can just use a paper. That'll work just fine. So the thing to keep in mind when you're doing a brainstorm is you want to take all of your ideas that are just rattling around in your head and you want to dump it on a physical thing like a blackboard. So let's say that we're trying to do a brainstorm on this YouTube video, which is on taking thoughts and turning them into structured ideas. I would write that main idea on the middle of the blackboard, like thoughts into ideas, and then every single concept, experience, things I've read, things that are just rattling around in my head, I throw it onto the blackboard as soon as they pop into my head. So I don't use any kind of filter at all. Even if it doesn't seem like it's related to the concept that I'm trying to brainstorm, I just throw it on there because it doesn't hurt to put it on there. If my mind came up with that idea as I was trying to brainstorm about this YouTube video, it's probably a reason for that. So I just throw it on there. There's no filters at all for it. And another thing that you want to keep in mind when you're doing brainstorm is it's all about the quantity of your ideas and the quantity of your thoughts. It doesn't really matter how good they are or how bad they are. You just want to like pop them out of your head as soon as possible. Now, when I was first starting to do this, I had a lot of issues with the mental blocks of thinking like, hey, this is not good enough, or this is stupid, or like I just had voices in my head telling me things that wasn't helping me. So it's really important to kind of just turn those voices off and say, right now, all I'm doing for the next 15 minutes is I'm taking whatever ideas and thoughts that come into my head, and my only job is to write those things down. And if you do that, it'll stop that filter from popping up in your head. So if you get stuck in generating ideas, or you just can't come up with ideas, try asking some of these questions. You can ask questions like, I wonder, and then you can try to finish that question off. You can say, what if, and then try to answer that question. You can come up with examples. You can come up with analogies. So this idea is kind of like this, and then come up with as many like this examples as possible. You can think of things that are directly related to the question that you asked in the middle of the brainstorm. You can come up with questions that are indirectly related to the question that you're trying to answer. And try to think of mental models that that are similar to this. Is there any models in nature? Is there any models in economics, history, and biographies that you read? Think about all the articles and books you kind of thought about. Is there anything that's related to this brainstorm that you could find in any of those things? And then are there any questions that will lead you to asking more questions that will help you generate more ideas? Once again, this part is the part where most people get stuck, and this is the most important part. And remember, the thing that you're trying to do is put as many things as possible on your blackboard or your paper. This is not about the quality of those things, it's just about the quantity of those things, because we're not going to use all of them. We're not going to use half of them. We're probably going to use like 5 to 10% of those ideas. So the more things you have on there, the more chances that you'll have to find something that's useful. All right, so the next thing you want to do after you have your words on your blackboard or piece of paper on the app that you're using is you want to just take a look at those words, and you want to do some further research on some of the words that you have on there. You know, there'll be some things that you might not know why you put on there. There might be some things that you might not fully understand the concept, or you kind of forgot the concept, or like you forgot the reference or who said it, or like the quote that was kind of related to that, but you're not sure where you got it. So that's when the internet comes in really handy. You have to start researching more into, or digging more into these ideas that you put on your blackboard or your white piece of paper. Now, the second thing that I additionally do on top of searching the internet is I search my own second brain, which is my Roam database. Now, I know most of you guys probably don't have your own second brain yet. In a future video, I will be helping you guys set up your own second brain, and the reason why it's so important to have a second brain is this step. When you're generating ideas, it's usually better to go into your own second brain, which is kind of like the internet, but it's like your own personal internet, because all the ideas that you have on there are all internally connected, and you have like context, and you have like a reference inside your head and models inside your head that make those ideas a lot more richer than the ideas that you find on the internet, because they're much more personally connected to you. So yeah, they're going to be more valuable when you produce things with them. So at this point, we should have a bunch of things on our blackboard or a piece of paper brainstorm. You know, we took the ideas, we dumped them on a piece of paper, then we researched the ones that were really interesting, and we like improved our brainstorm even more. And now we just have like this blob of information that's kind of disorganized. Now, what you're trying to do with this next step is you're trying to add some structure to these thoughts, and you're trying to create a model around this, around these thoughts, so they can become like this organized, structured idea. Now, the best tool to do that is mind mapping software. The one I use is called MindNode. The only reason I use it is because it works on all of my devices, like my phone, my iPad, my MacBook Air, and my MacBook Pro. So if I do a mind map on my MacBook Air, I can like later refer to it on my phone. So that's like really useful. But pretty much all mind mapping software do the same thing. And the thing that they do really well is they allow you to structure ideas together. And another really good thing about the way they allow you to structure ideas together is that the components of these ideas are fluid. So you can take an idea from one branch of the mind map and connect it to another branch of the mind map, and you can just keep moving these things around like Lego bricks. So you can experiment with structuring your ideas in lots and lots of different ways until you find one that's like useful or like really efficient. This is my exact workflow for taking ideas off my brainstorm and throwing it onto my mind map. The first thing I do is I look at my brainstorm and I look at the jewels, the gems, the best ideas I have on that brainstorm, and I just chuck them onto my mind map software. At this point, I'm not trying to structure these ideas like in an outline. I'm just trying to take the ideas that I think are the best. And after all the good ideas are on there, I leave my brainstorm paper behind, and now I'm focused 100% on my mind map software. And at this point, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to connect these ideas in a logical way. Just like if I was writing a argument, right? Like I would write the argument and then the reason and some evidence for that reason and another argument, then evidence for that reason. Just like that, I'm trying to organize this mind map in a way that makes sense to me. I'm trying to structure these like disorganized thoughts into like this structured argument or this structured thought or this structured idea, because once you organize it, it becomes like kind of like a model that you can use. And models are what our brain uses to learn things and present information. It's actually how we talk to each other. So that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to like move these ideas around inside my mind map, connect them to each other, and then like experiment with different structures. If I like one structure, I can just duplicate that, like copy the whole thing and move it over, and then try moving the ideas around once again to like try to refine this structure down so it's like really simple, but it's also easy to like for me to remember or easy for me to present to someone else. And that's my whole process. Once that mind map structure is complete, and then I just turn that into an outline, if I'm trying to communicate that with a YouTube video, or if I'm trying to build a product with it, or if I'm trying to do something useful with it, I can now use this model of my mind map to create something else. That's my whole workflow, you guys, of taking a brainstorm, structuring that into an idea that's useful for myself and others. I use MindNode for my mind mapping system. What do you guys use? Is there any apps that I should be checking out? Comment below. Let me know what you're using. Okay, so that was my entire thoughts to structured idea workflow. Now I'm going to be telling you guys why I think this system works so well. There's 3 reasons. So the first reason why I think this system works really well is because you're taking the process of, generating structured ideas, and you're breaking it down into 2 steps. The first step is generating the ideas. The second step is structuring those ideas. And when you break those 2 things into 2 separate activities, it gives your brain more ability to focus on those separate activities. Things are just a lot more simpler when it only has to do one thing. So when things are a lot more simpler, your brain can do those things a lot better. It can use all of its energy to focus on completing that thing. So the second reason why this system works really well is because you're kind of able to treat your ideas kind of like elements, and you're trying to build little compounds inside your mind mapping application. You can see which structures are like really stable. Like you can try a combination of ideas together in a certain pattern, and if that pattern is really stable and it like makes sense, then you can keep adding things to it. But if it doesn't make sense, you're able to like dismantle that and build a different structure. So you're able to try on lots of different patterns to see which ones are working. So you're able to do lots of different experiments with the thoughts that you have in order to build a really stable patterns, or really strong ideas, or really strong models that you can like communicate with other people. So the third reason why this system works really well is it allows you to be a lot more creative. And creativity is simply the idea of copying, combining, and transforming different ideas together in different combinations. And when you think about it, when you're doing the brainstorm and you move on to the mind map, that's all it is. You're copying ideas, you're transforming these ideas by changing them a little bit, or changing the structure of it a little bit, and then you're combining ideas together in like different orientations to find different patterns. So it really like enables creativity to happen, and it enables creativity to happen in like this iterative way. You can figure out a structure that works really well, and then you can like copy that, you can move it on to the next section of the mind map, and then like try different experiments to make that even better. So this whole system and this whole workflow is based around making creativity not just possible but also effortless. And hopefully when you guys use it, that's what it'll feel like. And you'll be able to hopefully come up with really cool ideas and share them with the rest of us. Yeah, love you. Talk to you soon. Bye. Friends, the YouTube recommendation engine is an AI system. It's an algorithm that shows you videos that it thinks you like to watch. So if you like to learn how to leverage technology to become smarter, build your personal monopoly, and master your dyslexia, like this video, subscribe, and leave a comment. If you do that, it'll teach the YouTube algorithm that you like videos like this one. And then YouTube will start showing you the rest of the series on your homepage. So if you don't want to miss out on this opportunity to master your dyslexic mind, like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Love you.